We'll call this meeting of the Craven County Board of Commissioners regular session for Monday, January the 4th to order. Madam Clerk, if you will, please call the roll.
Yes. Commissioner Mark,
Here.
Commissioner McCabe,
Here.
Commissioner Mitchell. Here. Commissioner Liner,
Here.
Vice Chairman Bucher,
Here.
Chairman Jones.
Here. If you will, let's stand together for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's me.
O God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, thank you for the spirit of contentment we can receive from you, bringing quietness and faith to our hearts. Today, use our county commissioners and other county representatives for your purposes, enabling them to live worthy of your name. May the words they speak bring edification and unity as they build bridges of cooperation. Lord, give them the wisdom to depart from strife, remembering that soft answers turn away anger. We pray in your great name. Amen.
Amen.
Commissioners, tonight is an exciting night for Craven County as we will have the oath of office be administered to one of our newest commissioner, Beatrice R. Smith. And at this time, we have members of her family who are coming, and Miss B is also here. And I would like to ask if she will come forward at this time to have the oath of office.
Left hand on the Bible, right hand. Raise your right hand.
Okay. You'll be taking the oath of office with Craven County Board of Commissioners, State of North Carolina, Craven County. You, Beatrice R. Smith, do solemnly and sincerely swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States, that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government therefore, and that you will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of your knowledge and ability, so help you God. I do. You, Beatrice R. Smith, do swear that you will well and truly execute the duties of the office of Craven County Commissioner according to the best of your ability, skills, and ability, according to law, so help you God. I did. Witness my hand and official seal this, the 4th day of January 2020.
At this time, Ms. B, do you want to make a few comments?
I was going to take my seat before I made it, but I can't.
Okay.
Can you give me that?
I tell you what, let's do. Let's take a 3-minute recess, and then we will.
You don't have to do that. I need the paper with the name. That's it. Thank you. I will wait. But I want to acknowledge, first of all, people that are here. I'm so proud to have my family. My sister Ann Herndon, who held the Bible for me. My niece gave me an oath of office, Elise Waddell. My brother-in-law, David Herndon. Kimberly Smith, Vice Chair of the Board of Education. Dr. Doyle, Superintendent of Craven County Board of Education. And Commissioner Johnny Sampson's family is here to support me, and I'm so delighted to have them. And they are Barbara Sampson and Betty Sampson. I thank all of you for coming, and I want to say that before I took my seat.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you want me to speak before I sit down?
You can sit down. We do thank all of you for coming, and we will take about a 3-minute recess to allow some transition and pictures. All right? We'll stand for 3-minute recess. We'll come back to order, and at this time, Commissioner Smith, we will recognize you for some comments.
Thank you. I don't have anything profound that I'm going to say, but I know that I was going to be a little nervous, so to keep me in line, I kind of jotted down just a few things. And Commissioner Jones and Vice Chair Commissioner Butcher.
Booker.
Oh, here.
Okay. It is indeed a pleasure for me to be here. I thank you for considering me. I know that you had other people who were quite qualified, and so I am so happy that you decided to put your trust in me and what I might do for the people in Craven County. I come to you as humble and proud and determined to do the best that I can do. I know that I'm following the seat of an icon in New Bern. I am very impressed, and I'm also consistently aware of his legacy. And when I come to this board, I come to honor his legacy and to do a good job to follow in his footsteps. I will not be doing exactly what he has done, I'm sure, but I will respect his work. And I come to you with my A game. That means that I'm going to bring the best that I can bring to do the best that I can do for the people of Craven County. Of course, I'm here to work for every person in Craven County. However, I know, and I know that I am going to listen to my constituents. And I'm going to have in mind the people in District 3. I will be working for them, advocating for them, and doing whatever I can for them. I come to work in a cooperative manner, understanding that I'm one person on the board, and it's going to take all of us to do good work, move forward together without incident or a lot of being stuck in one place. I have served on several boards, not any as far-reaching as this board, but I have learned much from my service to the people. And I bring to you my experience, my education, my skill and knowledge, and as Commissioner Jones said, my love for the people. I love the people in Craven County. I worked or lived from one end almost to the other, and I care about the people. Now, I'm not the sort of person that you're going to find running around hugging everybody, kissing everyone. That is not the kind of love that I share. My love is a kind of love that is concerned to work for folk, to do what's right for everyone so that they can have good standards of living. As you heard from me when I was interviewed, I had a poor farmer daddy and a mother who was a housewife, but they cared about their children and wanted the best for them. Taught us that is our responsibility, not just for ourselves, but for our community and for all people that we live around. In those days, most people had that same commitment. But I come to you with a commitment, the desire to serve people. And when I say serve people, my desire is to serve all people. I'm not bound by age. I'm here to advocate for older people. But my commitment is not bound by age or color or race or ethnic group or religion or any other measure that will hinder my service. But I'm here to serve all people at all times. And my goal is to do those things that will enhance the life of the people in Craven County. And that may be working with the schools, it may be housing, safety, jobs, infrastructure, all manner of needs that we find in Craven County is my goal. I know that this is a challenging work, and it will not always be easy, but I'm here to meet the challenge. I am the kind of person that you may say that I'm easygoing, and perhaps, and I am in many ways. However, I want to let you know that I am the sort of person that is willing to look wrong in the eye and call it out for what it's worth. And then when we do that, we understand what the reason for my thinking is, and we move forward. That is the kind of person I am. That is the kind of board member that I will bring to you. Again, I look forward to working with you. It's an honor. I never thought when I was a little farm girl out in Spring Garden that I would ever have the opportunity to work on such a board or have any of the positions or jobs that I've had. So I'm blessed. And in being blessed, you need to bless someone else. And so it is my job to try to see that people in Craven County are blessed as much as my abilities will allow them to be. I thank you again for the opportunity. And again, I look forward to working with each and every one of you.
Well, Commissioner Smith, we welcome you aboard and look forward to working with you. And I know at the end of this meeting, during Commissioner's comments, I know our board will echo to you that they are glad that you're a part of this board now, but I know I can say that on their behalf. And, again, you bring a lot of experience to this board. And as you know, I've had the opportunity, the county manager and myself have met with Commissioner Smith on several occasions already. And she's asked a lot of questions. And she's wanted to learn about county government, but there's a lot she already knows. So I know she's going to come and work hard for the citizens of District 3 and Craven County. So we welcome you. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
All right, Commissioners, the next item on our agenda this evening is the approval of the agenda. Are there any items that you would like to pull or additions?
I make a motion that we approve the agenda as is.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. The next item is the petition of citizens to discuss agenda topics. Mr. Vice Chair, do we have anybody?
Mr. Chairman, we have nobody tonight that's requested to speak.
Okay. No citizens signed up to speak tonight. Item 2 is the consent agenda. Are there any items to pull from the consent agenda? Hear none, do I have a motion that we approve?
Make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hear none, Madam Clerk, if you will, please call the roll.
Commissioner Mark?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Mitchell? Yes. Commissioner Liner?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Booker?
Yes.
Chairman Jones?
Yes. Thank you. Next item is the commissioner appointments to boards and committees. The board should have an updated list before you of the board appointments. I've had discussions with each commissioner, and for the most part, each board has stayed about the same as from the previous year. And we thank you for your willingness to serve on these boards and different committees. And as all of you are aware, it takes a few years to learn each committee and each board to get a feel of what each one does. And I think all of us are in agreement to try to keep them as consistent as they have been in the years past. So thank you again for your willingness to serve. The clerk will be informing each of these boards about your reappointment, and she will be doing that in the next few days. Any questions, concerns from the commissioners? Hear none. Next item on the departmental matters is solid waste. Mr. Stephen Astor. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Stephen.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I have three items for you today. And the first one is the assignment of the purchase contract for the property located at 240 Bailey Lane in Vanceboro. Craven County is ready to accept an assignment of a purchase contract shown in attachment 4A for the Bailey Lane property, which is the property that is adjacent to our county convenience site in Vanceboro. The purchase price of this property is $39,000 with a due diligence deadline of March 30, 2021, and a closing date of April 15th, 2021. The offer was made through a third party, and in turn, the third party will assign the contract to Craven County. Today, I'm asking for approval of the execution and delivery of the assignment agreement and approval of the purchase contract.
All right, before we discuss it, Mr. County Manager, Mr. County Attorney, excuse me, you have anything to add?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I will just note this is consistent with the prior discussions of the board concerning this property. It's within the purchase price parameters we had outlined, and we've got plenty of time to do due diligence, which I think is ready to go to make sure we don't have any title surveying or other issues with it.
All right, are there any questions from the board for these two gentlemen before we attain a motion? Here none, do I have a motion that we accept the purchase contract?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Here none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. All right, thank you. Item B.
Okay, item B is the request for exemption for engineering services. The County Solid Waste Department was given direction to proceed with the acquisition of the property in Vanceboro for future development of the Vanceboro Convenience Center. Under the advice from the County Attorney, the Solid Waste Department is requesting the Board of County Commissioners approval of the resolution of exemption for this project. That is shown in attachment 4B. This exemption will allow the Solid Waste Department to contract with Avalos Engineering to perform engineering and surveying services and forego the formal request for qualifications process.
All right, are there any questions? Here none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Here none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. All right, C.
Thank you, Board. Our last item here is the budget amendment for the engineering services. The Craven County Solid Waste Department is requesting the Board of County Commissioners to approve the budget amendment shown in 4C. In this budget amendment, you will find $7,325 to fund the preliminary engineering services for the due diligence period in the review of the Vanceboro property. Avalos Engineering has provided the Solid Waste Department with a breakdown of the costs, and that is as follows. The Phase 1 environmental assessment is $2,500, and the property boundary for this property, for the survey for this property, is $4,825.
All right, any questions?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? The motion is to approve the budget amendment for $7,325. Madam Clerk, if you will, please call the roll.
Commissioner Mark?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Mitchell?
Yes.
Commissioner Liner?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Chairman Bucher?
Yes.
Chairman Jones?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Board.
Appreciate it, Stephen. Next item is Social Service Pandemic Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program. Mr. Merritt, good evening, sir.
Chairman Jones, Commissioners, County Manager, good evening. How are y'all doing? Bring before you a budget amendment to add additional low-income energy assistance program funding to our budget. These are specifically entitled Pandemic LEAP budget funding. This has come down through the Controller's Office. It was part of the COVID-19 state package. And this includes funding for the actual program and also additional administrative funding to administer the program as well. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding this matter.
All right, any questions from the board? Yes, sir, Mr. Liner.
Jeff, is there any different qualifications for this funding than there is for the regular LEAP that came out? They're all the same.
All the same, yeah. There's
Okay.
no different eligibility requirements for that.
Okay, what do we have total on hand now? We had money come in before. Now we got this $172,000.
I'd have to look. I'd have to look at the total program that we had. I think it was around 400 and some thousand, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head. What we got
We
through
started originally when we came through.
Yes,
So this is on top of that.
yes. This is in addition to.
And then we normally, February, March, get another drop because we get additional, so.
Sometimes we do. It depends upon our spending habits and the reversions and reallocations. All that money's in one big pot through the state. And the state will look and see what other counties' spendings are. And if there are some counties who are projected to overspend, we can request more. If there's counties and projected to underspend, they can opt to offer some up. So it's not 100% guaranteed we will
Right.
get more.
What are we up to now? We started this in December, right?
I'd have to look at how much we've done through December. In December, you have to have a household member age 60 or over. We generally see a big increase in spending in January once that program opens up to all households. This year, the state did go and do something they'd never done before, trying to alleviate mass crowds gathering in our office for applications. They've opened up applications online. They also went back and gave out a report that we went and checked to see individuals who applied last year that were possibly eligible this year, making sure all the information was the same, and they were automatically determined eligible again. So it was set up so those funds could automatically go to their vendors, make sure their vendors are the same, and they would get the correct amount based upon their eligibility and household size.
So this is not paid to the individual, it's paid to the vendor?
No money goes directly to the individual through any of our energy program funds. They go directly to the vendor. So in this case, this is a credit to their account. So $300, $400, $500. Those are the amounts dependent upon eligibility requirements. If you're determined eligible, they look at your heating source, the amount of people in your home, and then that amount is determined. And if you're determined eligible, it is credited to your account through your vendor.
How many times can you apply?
Once, yes.
What's the max you can get?
500, and that's it. This is different from our crisis intervention program. You can apply multiple times there, but and that's through the energy funds as well. And we do get different amounts dropped through that program because that's a year-long program. So people are eligible for up to $600, but there's some different eligibility requirements. You have to be considered crisis, and our policy outlines what a crisis is. So if someone comes in, they're in a crisis for $135, then you would still have $465 they would be eligible for as long as the funds are available. It's not that once you get $135, do that $165 or $135, you would keep that $465 and that would solely be yours. That money is only available until it's exhausted. The same way with this. These funds run through the end of March or until the money's exhausted.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Smith?
I have two questions. The first one, is this for city and county residents?
Anyone who lives in Craven County.
Anyone that lives in Craven County?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and is it for heat and electricity?
This goes to their vendor. It's intended for heat, but for any electrical needs, it's really for their heating source.
Okay.
So, if their heating source is gas, we have people whose heating source is wood. We have wood vendors that heat with wood. And if it's electrical, it'll go to that vendor. So whatever their heating source is.
Heat is for heating. Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner McCabe, did you have your hand up?
No, not here.
Commissioner
B.
Let me make sure that I understand what I think you said.
Yes.
So if I were eligible for this and Duke Energy powered my heating system, then you would and needed $200. This would provide $200 to Duke for my heating system.
Well, in this one, there's 300, 400, or 500. So if you're eligible for 300.
Then let's assume, for 300, but it would go to Duke and that would take that off my bill.
Right. They would use that, put towards your heating source.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other commissioners have any comments, questions? Here none, do I have a motion that we approve the budget amendment of $198,425?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Here none, Madam Clerk, if you will, please call the roll.
Commissioner Mark?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Mitchell?
Yes.
Commissioner Liner?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Booker?
Yes.
Chairman Jones?
Yes.
Can I make a little more clarification? I was thinking about something to make sure that the public at home doesn't get confused about that process where we went and looked at prior cases was only for those households eligible 60 and over. So if those households who were not eligible during that time frame, they will still have to do their regular application process. I don't want them to think that we have a list of those individuals that were approved January and after through the end of the year last year, where they can expect their suspect to be determined eligible through that process I previously described. They'll still have to come in and do an application, that's eligible over our EPAS system at NCFAS. They can call into our office. They can fax a request in. They can come into the front desk. We've got application packets there. So there's numerous ways to do it. I just want to make sure that clarification. So if someone needs the benefits, they're not waiting on those funds to be, credited to their vendor without them having to come to apply. If they hadn't already received them through that process I described earlier, where we looked at eligibility prior to this via a list from the state. So I just want to clear that up.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Merritt. Yeah, hold on.
Chair, if I may, could I ask the county manager, could we get a report to our first meeting in February of what we've spent, where we're at, what we've served?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll work on getting that. We can hopefully have something up through, our current batch that we've approved in December. So
I don't want to make it, I just want to see what we got running through.
And I'd be interested in the number of households that we have assisted through this, not just the dollar amount, but how many families, how many homes we've assisted with.
Well, if you do the number of applications, Commissioner Mitchell, you'll probably get the households.
Okay.
So, you can't have, you're not going to really have split households. So if they're under one utility bill, then, it's going to go to, it's going to go on roof. So if you hit a number of applications, that's a good application on that.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it, sir.
You want it for the second meeting or the first meeting? It'd probably be better for the second. That would give us a little more time to get the data through January.
See, now you was planning on giving us up to date now. Now you're putting it.
I'll give it to you.
A second's fine.
Okay. All right. Just want to be clear.
Thank you.
All right, next item is soil and water conservation, the contract award for the emergency watershed protection program. Mr. Patrick Baker, Ms. Chad Strong. Good evening, sir.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. All right. Following Hurricane Florence, the county pursued disaster funding through the USDA NRCS Emergency Watershed Protection Program for stabilizing critically eroding areas which, if left undone, pose a significant risk to life and/or property. The county was awarded state and federal funding totaling $4,003,608.83 for program implementation. Federal funding is being provided by the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service, totaling $2,956,087.83. The state funding is provided by the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Community Consumer Services, Division of Soil and Water Conservation, totaling $1,047,521. Participation in the program required a local sponsor, in which the Soil and Water Conservation District and Craven County both agreed to do. The sponsor is responsible for administration and execution of the activities associated with the project. All work will be performed at no cost to the county or the landowner. County staff is working with Wayne Floyd, our disaster recovery consultant, on this project. Recovery measures will target 41 shoreline erosion sites along the Neuse River and one inland stream bank erosion site located west of Fort Barnwell. Requests for proposals for these EWP sites were sent out on December the 3rd, with the proposals being due back on the 18th of December by 4 p.m. On December the 10th, a required pre-bid conference call meeting was held with 12 bidders present. December the 22nd, Bid Review Committee ranked the 4 submitted bids and has recommended that the county move forward with the 2 highest ranked bidders, which were also the 2 lowest priced bidders. The county proposes to split the groupings between these 2 low bidders, which will keep the program within budget and provide a time savings for the overall project implementation. The 2 recommended qualified bidders for this project are Trader Construction Company of New Bern, North Carolina, and Asimpa LLC of Heflin, Alabama. Contingencies are also available within the project budget for any unforeseen cost overruns. The Trader Construction is at $1,810,280. Asimpa LLC, $1,523,240 for a total of $3,333,520. In order to move forward with this project, staff requests the Board of Commissioners to accept the two lowest responsible qualified bidders, Trader Construction Company and Asimpa LLC, to perform the work on this project. Once all contracted documents are executed, staff will provide a notice to proceed to the approved contractors. The anticipated start date is January the 18th, 2021, and is projected to be completed by April the 30th, 2021.
All right, the board, do you have any questions for Mr. Baker? All right, Commissioner Liner.
Sir, is there any built-in admin costs and staff costs that we can recoup for this for your all's time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's part of what's left out of this,
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions? I do have one. The inland stream bank erosion site, west of Fort Bowman, where is that at?
That's located right on Highway 55. It's just past, I think it's Alum Springs Church of Christ. Right in that curve there, there was a washout where water came under the road, and it's right next to the highway there. And it's split in two properties, so that's where it's at.
Okay. All right. And is it being, which company will be taking care of that? I mean, have you determined that yet, or?
That one, that is Asimpa.
Okay. All right. And then you say on the other projects, you have 41 sites that you will be?
Yes, sir. Yep, 41 along the riverbank.
And that goes all the way from Commissioner Booker's district, James City, all the way down to Harlow?
Right on, yeah. Right on down past Cherry Branch. Hideaway, yep, Hideaway Lane, Hideaway Road, I can't remember the name of it.
Holiday Lane.
Lane.
How many more will you have after this? I mean, you still got a long list, or is this going to take care of a lot of them?
This is going to take care of what we've got that's eligible right now.
Okay.
We had a few more on the list early on, but once things started progressing along, we went back out there and looked, and a lot of people had already fixed their own problem. Just, I guess, got tired of waiting, so they fixed their own.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
I have one.
Yes, Commissioner Smith.
Have we used these companies before?
We have
I know you said they were qualified companies, so how will we determine that?
Well, we have used one of them before. Well, as far as qualified, this is where we go into we've got the committee that sits down and reviews their bids. Number one, did they provide everything that we asked for? What are their references? What kind of similar projects have they done in the past? That's kind of how we judge that.
Chad, you want to add something to it?
And we require a bid bond of 5% when they submit their proposal. And then also at the time of contract, we'll require 100% bond for the completion of the work.
Mr. Chair, where's the one in Cherry Branch? We're looking at.
That's Dolphin.
Dolphin Lane.
Dolphin?
Dolphin.
All right. Any other questions? Here none. Do I have a motion that?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the bids for $3,333,520. Any further discussion? Here none. Madam Clerk, if you will, please call the roll.
Commissioner Mark?
Yes.
Commissioner McCabe?
Yes.
Commissioner Mitchell?
Yes.
Commissioner Liner?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Booker?
Yes.
Chairman Jones?
Yes. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Appreciate what you do.
Man, good work. Chad.
All right, next on the agenda is appointments. We have the pending appointments. The vice chair and myself have met. We are talking about them. We will continue. Ask each commissioner to please be looking for individuals to serve. Under current appointments tonight, we have two. The first one is for the Coastal Regional Solid Waste Management Authority. We have the reappointment of Mr. John Kirkland. I'd like to ask the board if you would be in agreement to let's table this.
Second.
All right, don't hear any objection. It will be a table then. The next one is the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council. You have the reappointment of Mr. Eric Queen.
Make that motion.
We have all right, we have a motion, a second, that he be reappointed, so he will be by acclamation. Then you have there your upcoming appointments for February. There's a list of them. Please take note of those. You have a long list of fire tax commissioners, Emergency Medical Advisory Council, and the Fireman's Relief Board of Trustees. Anything else to take under appointments tonight? Hear none. Next on the agenda is County Attorney's Report. Mr. Grady.
No report, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you, sir. Next will be the petition of citizens under general topics, and I think our vice chair has said that we have
none
to sign up for that. Next would be the county manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I start with Happy New Year. I think everybody was happy to see 2020 move down the road a little ways.
Yeah.
We're hopeful in 2021 to get back on track with a lot of the work we're doing. However, we still are addressing the pandemic, which is I'm going to talk about in just a few minutes. I'd like to take this time from the Craven County staff to welcome Commissioner Smith on board. We really look forward to working with you and wish you well in the next 2 years of this journey.
Thank you.
And just to commemorate the new year of 2021, I'd remind the board that pretty quickly we start talking about budget. So we'll hopefully in February start trying to whittle down the budget calendar. I want to go ahead and get the work session days on your calendars early so that we can plan those days out. It'll come before we know it. We, as you heard, I believe at the December 7th Commissioner work session, we're doing okay right now. Obviously, there's still some ground to be lost or ground to be gained. We got to be on the gaining side moving forward. So, with that said, I wanted to update you quickly on the COVID-19 scenario. It's certainly been a topsy-turvy type of couple months since Thanksgiving in Craven County. We did not have a very good Thanksgiving period. As many predicted nationwide, it wasn't good. But here in Craven, we did see a spike, and as it was going down, it began to go up again, which is what we call a secondary spike, meaning the first group was infected, then infects other people. And it takes time for that to run through. I'll tell you, and just from an honest standpoint, today wasn't a good day. Just based on what I heard, what I saw, what I've heard from you, and what you're hearing on the street, we are probably entering what people predicted would be the Christmas spike, meaning people gathered around Christmas, people were infected, and now those folks will continue to deal with it moving forward. I asked Mr. Harrelson, I'm sorry I have to look at my phone, he was sending me some data. He noted the cases are surging all over the state of North Carolina. As you saw in the last report, I believe 68 of the counties are now red, which is the highest level of contagion. Right. And then the remaining counties, I believe, were orange, with just a few at yellow. So we need to be vigilant in what we do here in Craven County, and remember the 3 W's, which we've been talking about since March. The 7-day average of cases is roughly 96. I'm not sure what that's out of. I believe it's out of 1,000, and we're here at 82 in Craven County. So we're below average, but still high, as Scott noted, for where we want to see that. This afternoon, there were 57 people in the hospital. That's a number to keep your eye on. Commissioner Mark, serving on the hospital board, can speak that they've had some good times there and they've had some bad times. This is about as bad as I've heard. Now, let me say, all 57 residents are not Craven County citizens. We are a regional hospital here, so we have folks from Jones, Carteret, Pamlico, Lenoir, and Greene County that use our hospital. If I asked Scott about the active versus recovered count, which is a good way to measure the contagion in the county, is how many cases are active. He said that number was roughly at around 1,000, which would also be the highest that number has been since March. And last I checked this afternoon, it was roughly 5,300 cases total in Craven County since March. And again, it started as the travel related, then it was Community spread, meaning just getting passed around, and then as we've gone down, it's mainly direct contact or unknown origin, meaning, it happened, and we can't verify one way or the other how it happened. So the million-dollar question is, how do we get out of all this? And one of the ways is through the vaccine. There's 2 different vaccines that have been approved to be used. One is the Pfizer vaccine, which Carolina East received and have begun to use for their staff and other medical first responders. And then there's the Moderna vaccine, which we received, and we are beginning to use for first responders and folks like that. Mr. Harrelson noted to me that we will be getting some new vaccine this week. We'll be working closely with Carolina East Hospital to finish up the 1A health workers in the county. He suspects that should be done either this week or next week. Once that's complete, they will move to Group 1B, with the priority being those that are 75 years and older being at the top of that list as we move forward. He indicates that as we move into 1B, we will work with Carolina East and CCHC Health to begin to get a wider range of how that will go. He also indicates that we will be doing a 4-day-a-week vaccination schedule versus now really 1 or 2 because we just had a limited quantity. And with that said, I will note on the shipments are very sporadic. The first range we got was around 100 doses, and then we get expected 975 doses next. So there's no real methodology. We hear about it on Tuesday, they show up on Thursday, and we have to rapidly make those plans to go down those lists as we're prioritizing the 1A and 1B group. I asked Mr. Harrelson when he thinks we'll be moving into 2, 3, and 4, which are the groups as you move on. Group 4 is everybody else. And then Group 2 and 3, I don't want to quote because I don't have it in front of me. And he indicates as the supply of vaccine sustains each level, meaning when 1B is exhausted and we've done all those folks, we go to 2 and we'll keep going down the line. He did not have a timeline for that. It's completely dependent on us receiving the vaccine. So what I would suggest, and I've asked Scott to do, is as we get more time under our belt on this vaccination schedule, is have him come to your next meeting and give you a brief on how that's going and work with you and hopefully have more information on how it's going.
Any questions from the board for the county manager?
Mr. Chairman, Jack, could you go over the distribution, how it's going to be handled as far as...
Sir, I might be speaking out of turn, and as Mr. Merritt said, I don't want to lead anybody astray, but what we're doing is we're getting vaccines and we're dealing with the community health partners, right? Paramedics, our own health system, and private health providers that aren't affiliated with the hospital. The hospital's been dealing with their folks and other groups that are affiliated with the hospital. Our pharmacies locally, through a national contract, will be doing the assisted living, adult care homes, and nursing homes. So those are the 3. As this plan evolves and develops over time, I'm sure other individuals will be included in the vaccination schedule.
And this is coming from the governor's office, correct?
Yes, to be clear, and this was a question that came in several times today, who developed the plan 1A through 4? That was the state of North Carolina. This is done by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, particularly through their immunization department and their vaccines development crew.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that.
But it would be okay to have Mr. Harrelson come to the next meeting. That's something the board would like to see.
Yeah.
Be happy to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, next on the agenda is commissioners' reports. Commissioner Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Number one, I'd like to say welcome aboard to Commissioner B. Smith. Do you prefer B or Beatrice?
Either one. Quite a few people call me B, but
Okay, well,
quite a few
Commissioner.
call me Beatrice as well, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, well, thank you. It's
A
wonderful
lot
to
of people
have
call
you.
me Miss B.
I look forward to working with you, and thank you very much. And I appreciate your willingness to serve this community, and I know, yes, you represent District 3, but you will also serve the entire county.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you. And other than that, I'd just like to wish everybody a slightly belated happy holiday season and happy new year. I think we're going to have some rough times ahead with the post-holiday COVID surges, but hopefully as 2021 rolls through, the year will get better. So let's all pray for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Liner.
Sir, again, I'd like to welcome Miss B. We've known each other for a number of years, and it's a pleasure to have you here on this board. Anything you need as far as from my area, just give me a holler. Want to talk? Open anytime.
I believe it. We've had a good work relationship.
Other than that, I just pass out to the board. I think the chair will probably bring it out. We've got a rough year ahead of us. I mean, it may be a new year, but we're heading off running real strong. We've got a lot of things coming up.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
All right, thank you. Commissioner McCabe.
Yes, I'd like to wish everyone a happy new year, and I also like to thank Ms. B on the board, and we go all work good together. And
Absolutely.
I'm very, very happy to see you here.
Thank you.
That's all, Mr. Chair.
All right, Commissioner Smith.
I think I've already had my spiel. I'm an introvert. Sometimes I talk too much and then I don't talk enough. But again, I'm very happy to be here, and I look forward to doing the job that I need to do. I'm still in a learning process, but I hope that I learn quickly and do some good for the people in Craven County. That is my intent.
Thank you,
Thank you for
ma'am.
having me.
Okay, you're welcome.
Commissioner Moore.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes, sir.
I want to welcome you also.
Thank you very much.
And I agree with everything you said.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Vice Chair.
Yeah, I'll echo that. Ms. Smith, welcome.
Thank you.
I have one other subject I'd like to touch on tonight. 20 years ago, when I first established a home here, I was served by a internet company called Cox Internet.
Right.
I had no trouble with Cox. They were a good provider, and then they were purchased. They were purchased by a company from West Virginia called Suddenlink. Suddenlink now controls the internet in a great portion of our county, and so I now have been a Suddenlink customer for a number of years. County manager tonight asked me if I got an email from Mr. Kite, and my response was, no, my internet was out today, as it is often. It is the most unreliable and difficult company to deal with that I've dealt with in a long time. If you try to call when your service is out, you can, I always tell my wife, I'm going to go in my office and shut the door, and I'll see you in about an hour, because it can be a 30 to 45 minute hold until you can finally get a human being, if you're fortunate. Today I said to her, you make the call. It's your turn. So she called, and she couldn't even get to a person. All they said was, we're having outages in your area. There are businesses in downtown New Bern that can't check credit cards. They can't run their customers' history. It's a shame that in this 2021 that our internet is so unreliable. I say all that, but to add that, by the way, the company in West Virginia was purchased by a company in Texas who now owns the business. It's still called Suddenlink, but its parent company is, I think, Altice is the name of the company. So I've been getting regular complaints from constituents about the internet. And what can we do about it? Why can't we do something? And just to clarify for the audience out there, we as the county have no power over this company. The General Assembly changed that a few years back. Anybody know how long ago that was, Jack?
About 10 years, sir.
Okay. 10 years ago or so, the General Assembly decided that we wouldn't have any control. So now we are in bed with a company that we have no control over. So having said that, I guess the only control we have is we can make some noise. And I did notice on Facebook this past week that the city of Tarboro wrote a very strong letter to the Attorney General of North Carolina complaining about, guess who? Suddenlink. And it was a well-written letter, and my suggestion, Mr. Chair, is that we don't have to copy that letter, but that we write a similar letter. And I also noticed, speaking with one of the aldermen in the city of New Bern, he has gotten a tremendous number of complaints in his ward, so, and I assume all the wards. So I think at the very least we can do for our constituents is to let the Attorney General know it's time that he takes some action with this company, that he holds their feet to the fire, since we can't. So just to let everybody know out there, we will do what we can. We'll write a letter, and we'll try to follow up on that as we go down the road.
Are there any other commissioners have any comments?
Yes, I have one. Speaking about the internet, where are we now standing with the internet in the eastern part of Craven County?
Mr. County Manager, I'll refer to you.
Yes, sir. Let me get my mic, Commissioner McCabe. As we talked about, I believe it was at our first December meeting, the Great Grant Program that was authorized with the CARES Act money hit a roadblock this fall. I believe that roadblock has remedied itself. It was where the legislature appropriated, the governor said it couldn't be spent. I believe they negotiated it out, and now that money's allocated. I'm not sure how that project fared, but there is significant interest from at least two companies to pursue additional projects for that area. One of the things that was an advantage and now a disadvantage is that there was spectrum going down toward their area, but it just didn't go far enough. Spectrum, a lot like Suddenlink, a big national company, used to be Time Warner and changed names 3 or 4 times, has not shown interest in pursuing a project. That would be the easiest answer. So now we're going to have to look at fixed-base wireless and other methods. But, sir, the earliest you're looking at for a project to get developed and funded would be sometime in the spring of 2021.
Okay.
Commissioner Smith.
Isn't there a need in the western part of the county as well?
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Yes, ma'am. And there's
are you looking at that as well?
we are. We're looking at every area that's unserved. The western part had some strategic advantages over the far eastern end, where there is some infrastructure there, and there was an existing project in Jones County and Lenoir County that's allowed us to tie in what I call the Fort Barnwell area, and now there's a new project that covers basically from Pitt County to Beaufort County along the northern band, and those two that I think's got a lot of promise. That one just came up last month. So really right now, 2 areas that are of concern would be the east of 17, Ernle area, and then the far Adams Creek area in Harlow.
Commissioner Booker.
Yeah, I would just add that the last point I would make would be that when Suddenlink was based in West Virginia, they had a regional office in Greenville and an office in New Bern.
Right.
Both those offices are gone.
Mm-hmm.
We have no local representation, no one we can talk to locally, and that has just made the situation worse. Oh, I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
If I may, do you need a consensus for the letter?
Well, I'd like, if I could, attain a motion. Let's vote on it.
Make a motion.
All right.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to send a letter to Suddenlink, advising them of our concern. Discussion. Commissioner Smith, did you have anything?
I said to the Attorney General.
To the Attorney General? Okay, yes. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
Mr. Chair, if I may, tying in with that same thing, whoever, if you and the vice chair have a meeting with our representatives, or we may bring it up Thursday to our new representative to move this up to the House level and let them start reacting, because they put us in this position.
I will say, just to expound a little bit on what the county manager said, our former chairman and myself met with several interested companies that would like to provide broadband here in the county. And we have signed letters of support, the former chairman and myself, to acknowledge that we need internet all across the county. And so the problem with it is just time-wise and getting these grants. Some grants are from the state, some grants are from the federal government. So it's just a time frame if they are accepted. So But great point. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, for bringing that up. And that letter will be sent to the Attorney General and expressing our concern. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
All right. I will forego my comments. I think I've probably said enough this evening also. The next item on the agenda tonight is a closed session, and the board will be requested to go into a closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11, A3, attorney-client privilege. Anything to add to that? Okay. Here none, do I have a motion that we go?
Moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go into closed session. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We will take about a 5-minute recess.